tell you one thing I did not expect. I did not expect to get news like this so soon. It is November, 2023 is almost up. Marvel Spider-Man 2's been out for a few weeks now. A lot of us have gotten to experience the story, complete the game 100%, it, find out all these little hints and details about what the future of the franchise holds. But yesterday we got a huge confirmation in regards to the future of Insomniac's Spider-Man universe and what we can expect to see going forward in future installments. We got some words from advanced writer Brittany Morris as well as narrative director Ben Arfman on what we can expect going forward, and it's got the internet a little bit divided. I'm not gonna lie to you there. Now this will involve information in regards to the ending of the game, so if you have not completed it yet, be sure to hit the like button on the video and come back after you finish Marvel Spider-Man 2's story. With that being said, we're gonna jump right into it. So this is coming from an article with Gizmodo that involved interviewing our writers and narrative director on the twists and turns that we saw throughout Marvel Spider-Man 2's story campaign. And in it, they have confirmed that going forward, Miles Morales will be the main Spider-Man of the story as far as Insomniac's adaptations go. In the interview with Gizmodo, Ben and Brittany both talk about the true meaning behind Spider-Man 2's ending. If you finish the game, you know that Miles is about to go and handle some crimes, and he says, "Hey Peter, come on, let's go," in which they have this moment where they come to the conclusion that Peter's gonna take some time to be Peter Parker for a little bit. And Miles is cool with this. He's like, I got this, you know, I can do this. They've confirmed that Miles is going to be the main Spider-Man while Peter takes a backseat for a little bit. Her direct quote was, "It always felt very natural, and I think we all collectively thought it would happen. To me, it shows a great deal of evolution for Miles. At the beginning of the game, we see him struggling to figure out what he wants to do with his life. But by the end, we had Miles carrying the burden of saving the city and also carrying Pete when Pete wasn't strong enough to carry himself at various points throughout the game." Arfman goes on to echo what Brittany said, that the idea of a two Spider-Man story was always really essential to this game. I think pretty early on, we knew that we wanted to have a moment of handing the reins over. And as we developed it, as we started to lay down more tracks leading up to that moment, it just felt more and more right. He continues on saying, "I think it was John who wrote that scene in Aunt May's garage and is one of my favorite scenes. The way Miles intuits exactly what Pete is thinking and stops him from stumbling through trying to hand over the mask. Miles going, 'You know, I got this, bro.' It's such a great moment between the two of them, and it felt like such a natural conclusion. I'm not sure when specifically we decided to do that, but it always felt like the only way the game could end." And like I said, this sparked up some major controversy. A lot of people are saying, this doesn't feel like it should be the end of Peter's story. Like, why would we move on to Miles like that? But here's the thing, nobody said that it's the end of Peter's story. They just said that going forward, he will be taking a backseat for a little bit. To get into a little bit of the side quest content, I'm gonna actually talk about the possible concepts for future DLC for Marvel Spider-Man 2. As many of you know, if you completed the Flame side quest that Peter did alongside Yuri Watanabe as Wraith, we end up getting the reveal that the Flame is actually Cletus Cassidy, who has gotten his hands on a bit of spare symbiote that Oscorp had in hiding. Now that has led many of us to believe that eventually we're going to see a Marvel Spider-Man 2 Crimson Hour DLC. And the thing is, from what I understand, there has been history between Miles and Carnage in the comics. I don't think that it's normally Cletus Cassidy's version of Carnage. Someone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But with that in mind, and this idea that Miles is going to be more of a mainstay in the future installments, I think that, again, this route is something that Insomniac knows what they're doing when they're going with this idea that Miles is going to be the main Spider-Man moving forward. And another thing you have to consider is by the end of Marvel Spider-Man 2, Peter has been Spider-Man for almost 10 years, if not more. I know by the first game, he's been Spider-Man for 8 years. And then I think between the first game's ending and the beginning of Miles Morales, it had been about 8 or 9 months. And then by the start of this game, it had been an additional 10 months. So he has been Spider-Man for the better part of a decade. It's okay to allow future titles to now focus on Miles. And if you've seen the ending post-credit scene, we've also had the introduction of Cindy Moon, aka Silk. We don't know anything about Insomniac's version of Cindy Moon so far. We don't know if she's been bit by a spider already, or if that has yet to come. She hasn't had her origin story yet. But if the idea is that Miles will be the main focus and then we're possibly getting Silk within the Insomniac Spider-Man universe, at some point a team up with the three of them could be great. But I can also see where they are now taking a step further to start to go into other characters and stories outside of Peter Parker. And remember, just because Peter is taking a back seat, that doesn't mean that he's all done forever when it comes to the Marvel Spider-Man franchise. I would say when it comes to Marvel Spider-Man 2, the story was for both of our heroes, with a higher focus on Peter and his relationship with Harry and things between him and Harry and MJ and Miles. Miles had more of a focus when it came to like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man side, as far as the side questing goes, helping out his fellow students at Brooklyn Visions, dealing with the Mysteriums, being able to do those missions for his Uncle Aaron. And within the main story, there was the arc between him and Mr. Negative, but I would say other than that, he was a little bit more on the sidelines as far as the main story goes. So I personally can't say that I mind that in the next game, maybe he will be a bigger focus. Hopefully in the main story, it's going to be kind of like he'll have, 70-75% ish focus if it's not a solo game again. But with the ending of Marvel Spider-Man 2 and that post-credit scene between Norman Osborn and Otto Octavius, I don't think that Peter is entirely done when it comes to future titles from Insomniac. There's a couple of ways it could go. There's some theories that we can kind of delve into. I'll be sure to bring some videos for that to you if you guys are interested. Throw it down in the comments below. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so that you don't miss anything when those theory videos drop. That's everything we have as far as Miles being the main Spider-Man going forward, as well as my thoughts on it. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to click the card on the screen. Check out my last upload involving Easter eggs that you might have missed in Marvel Spider-Man 2 that were related to other PlayStation Studio titles. As always, thank you for watching this far, and I will catch you in a future video. Peace out.